When we're young, we go through situations where we were encountered with this thing that made us afraid. Whatever it happened to be, it could have been speaking in front of other people. Somehow we became afraid. And so what we did is we built a wall. We built a wall as protection that we don't encounter this thing again, so that I don't become afraid again, and so that I don't feel this way. And we forget about it. It just lives on its own. This wall is erected. It is self-sustaining. It stands up and it serves its purpose. It protects us. But what it also does is it blocks. What it does is it blocks the light from coming in. So when you set that wall up, there is light that can no longer be shed on this thing that you are or were afraid of at the time under these very specific circumstances. And then it just lives in this darkness. This piece of you essentially just lives in the darkness, and it doesn't ever see the light. But there's this really great thing, because we're the ones that created these walls. We're also the ones that can tear them down. And these walls, these protections, we think that we need them for protection, but really what it's doing is it is blocking that light and blocking us from moving forward in other areas that this technically affects. What it does is we don't realize that this afraidness, this fearness that we had about speaking in front of other people is used down the line in our life in other areas. And we need that. We need to be able to speak in front of other people for a myriad of different things in order to do the thing that we want to do. So if you want to end up being a leader and you have to talk in front of other people for different things, for meetings and things like that, this is going to keep popping up. And as you put that wall in, you didn't just put a layer of protection to help you, you put a block from the light of what is happening here and what you can do in order to get rid of this fear. So we can tear this down so it no longer lives in darkness, and we can face it and no longer be afraid. And that's what working on the subconscious, that's what working on the shadow. This is, we're living in the darkness. We created these walls that are now in the shadow because we don't let the light in. That's what that means. It's tearing these walls down. It's first identifying where these walls have been built by ourselves because of this fear that we had at some point in our life. And we get to tear those walls down and look at that fear and realize where we don't actually need that protection, or create a different form of protection that allows us to still see the light, that it doesn't need to be a barrier and a protective mechanism that doesn't allow the light in. It can be something that protects us, that allows us to embrace the light even more. So this is something to kind of think about if you are working on anything within your subconscious, or thinking about working on anything within your subconscious or your shadow, and reframing that this is something that you're protecting, and realize that what it's actually doing is it's blocking the light from coming back in to what needs to be seen.